Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. We got Coriander, Killian, and Marty. We're going to be talking about The Terminator from
Yeah, you're getting us
1984.
Yeah,
pumped up
we
with
are.
that intro,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, man. You know how we do it. This is
Right?
going to be really, really cool. We talked about The Terminator some months ago on the old channel, and we had to make sure that we revisited it and did some other things with it because it's such a phenomenal film. Real quick in the chat, and then I'm going to get you guys a quick take on the movie. Let's see who we have. We've got Slasher Fred in the chat saying machines need love too. Right? We got Cryptomaria saying, "Oh, good, I didn't miss it," and also, "Thank God it's Friday." Right?
Yeah.
That's I'll tell you. Let's see. She also says, "It is great, but I am biased towards AI. I am sure Skynet has a nice place for me in the Matrix." All right. All right. Strange Monkeys in the chat. What's going on, man? Nice to have you.
Hey.
Hey.
Saying, "I've been waiting for this one." Yeah, man. All right. Crypta says, "I like the new martial arts stuff on the channel." Hey, thanks a lot, man. We're just doing stuff that we like to do. Some of the stuff we've been waiting to do for a long time, even on the old channel. And hey, we just got to do it. We got my man Neon Black in the chat saying, "That son of a bitch took my pants." That's a good line, man. Neon Black is my man. Okay, so real quick before we get started, let's just do a quick take. I'll start with you, Coriander, then you, Marty, and then Killian. Just give me a quick take. What does this movie mean to you? What do you think of it?
This is like one of those perfect movies. I love it. You have the sci-fi, action, and horror. It doesn't get any better.
All right. How about you, Marty?
Probably one of the most groundbreaking sci-fis ever, and a fantastic debut from what I think is one of the best directors of that time, and I think still is today, James Cameron.
Absolutely. All right, Kill. Let's throw this one out here, man, because I remember when we watched this as little kids.
Hey, look, I love this film, but watching this as a little kid, this film was nightmare fuel, man. in the best possible way.
That's awesome because I even asked Knight, "Hey, did Killian have nightmares?" That's awesome.
Look, hey, look, those special effects for the time, and hell, even now, I mean, it's amazing. This whole movie is amazing, and Arnold Schwarzenegger. If he wasn't in this movie, I just can't imagine anyone else, in this role. And it's magic. This movie is amazing.
Absolutely. And we do have a couple of fun facts that we will throw out, piggybacking off of that comment saying you don't know what you do if Arnold wasn't in it. So for you guys in the chat, for you guys watching the replay, we're going to finish getting set up. Sit back, relax. You know what time it is. Okay. All right. So Kill, let's start this thing off, man. Walk me through it. What do you got?
Man, look. Arnold, this like I said before, this movie is magic. 80s it's dripping, but it's still it does not feel dated, and it's still very rewatchable. At least for me. See. Essentially, you got young Arnold. All right, you have the great Bill Paxton. Rest in peace. Essentially, this movie just starts off, and it's the same kind of basic story as far as the plot. It's very basic. But what is so great about the narrative is it's wrapped around the futuristic killing machine, the Terminator, which when I first watched this movie, I didn't know that he was a machine. And I'm sure there are plenty of other people at the time that didn't really know what the Terminator really looked like.
Right. Right. Well,
which is a part of the magic of it.
Well, you remember, and Marty, I'm going to get to you next, but I just want to piggyback off of this. You remember when we saw this as kids, man, we didn't know what was underneath. We freaked out, man. We were scared. You remember that?
Yeah.
You remember when Mom was watching it and she's, what? I mean, that was crazy shit. You didn't know. That was, that just to say this too, especially for the younger viewers and audience, that was the beauty of watching movies back then. You didn't know everything about a movie before you saw it. You really could go in and be totally surprised. And it made a bigger impact. Marty, before I get to you, I just want to catch up with these guys for a second. Gore says, hey guys, my son Drake asked me to say hello for him. Oh, all right, man. Tell him we said hello. Yeah. Crypta says, I loved Beauty and the Beast. Linda is a force. I used to love that show too. Yeah. And so did our mother. Ron Perlman. Yep. We got Casey. Casey's in the chat saying the fake face skin doesn't look great, but I still really love the first Terminator. Maybe more than the others. Hard to choose between this and 2. I hear you, man. Yeah. I hear you. And next week we will be talking about 2. Neon Black says Arnold had the perfect robotic voice for the Terminator. Yes,
he was
absolutely.
Perfect.
Yeah, he was. And Gore says, as we always say, Bill Paxton, rest in peace.
I wish there was more of him in this. Yes. I wish he had a bigger role. That sucked.
Yep. Sasha Fred talking about the late great Stan Winston doing the effects. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so Marty, I'm gonna get to you. What were you thinking about as the movie started out? I just want to also say shout out to that future scene because it looked fantastic. It still looks great to me. What'd you think, Marty?
The future war scenes were really good. It was really well done. I think they used rear projection and some fantastic models, and it really depicted what a kind of a nuclear wasteland would look like. And the fact is that it wasn't flashbacks so much as memories or dreams of Kyle Reese. And the thing I love is the exposition of the actual plot. It never slows the movie down. We find this information out via dreams or flashbacks of Kyle Reese, and then other stuff is told while they're driving, while they're running. The movie does not slow down to tell the story. It's as the action is progressing, the story is explained, and I think that's a fantastic element to this movie. It doesn't let up, and I think that's something that this movie has above a lot of the other movies. I think it has more of a thriller format rather than an action format. Like the way Alien is different to Aliens, this is more of a thriller, a hunt, a chase movie rather than a balls out action movie.
Absolutely. Strange Monkey was saying, I have such an admiration for 80s sci-fi movies. Filmmakers were so creative when it came to stories about the future. I really do agree with that. It's very, very true. But Coriander, what were you thinking as we get further into the story? We see that Arnold is here and he starts to systematically look for Sarah Connor through the phone book. And then we meet Linda Hamilton, who was fantastic in this role. What were you thinking of the story at that point?
I mean, like Marty said, once it gets going, it doesn't stop. I mean, the action just builds and builds, and that's, it's so awesome. And I would hate to be Sarah Connor, because if you have that name, you're screwed.
Right.
Because Arnold is like a fucking executioner, man, and it's awesome, scary and awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and I think what was also really cool about it is they really set up Sarah as just this regular person, just trying to live her life, trying to make a living. She's a waitress, and James Cameron was really smart with this script because you didn't know exactly how bad it was gonna get, because it started off very nice. Even the music was very nice and happy-go-lucky. She's riding her little scooter or whatever, and whatever. She, her roommate, they're having fun, they're gonna go out, and everything's like happy-go-lucky. But then you also see our man Michael Biehn and Killian. Obviously, we've been fans of Michael Biehn since we were little kids, and you see him come through as well. And what I was saying this to Coriander just when we were doing a rewatch is that what was also smart is you didn't know what Michael Biehn's part in this story was when he came through. You know what I mean? Like you didn't know, and I think it was really, really cool how that all came together as well. Kill, what were you thinking about once Michael Biehn came through? And obviously he's avoiding the cops, and he seems to be pretty handy at doing what he needs to do. What were you thinking of the story at that point?
Well, it's so funny, man. James Cameron single-handedly took Michael Biehn and made him a plot device, made him like kind of the protagonist, made him the hero, and also made him like a kind of a vehicle for the audience, because when he comes, he gives so much exposition, and just like you guys were saying, this movie doesn't stop. And he gives so much exposition, whether he's telling this stuff to Sarah or whether he's having nightmares, that it informs us at a rapid pace. But it also makes us care about him, and it definitely makes us care about Sarah and the future, Earth. But like Michael Biehn, the way he plays it is he's such an everyman.
Yes.
Kind of in comparison to like this huge god of a physique that Arnold has. And whereas Arnold is cold and calculated, going through the phone books, systematically killing anyone with that name. That is such something a machine would do, to achieve its goal. Michael Biehn is like, kind of he looks like a hobo. He looks
he got clothes from a hobo.
He looks like he might be a drug addict or a criminal. That's why the cops try to kill him. And thank God that they are from like the stormtroopers school of shooting, that they didn't kill him, because if they did, we'd be shit out of luck. But no, Michael, his character is so focused and determined, yet also has great vulnerability. That is absolutely amazing how he can express it with his facial expressions, and also for how he cares for Sarah.
He loves her.
He loves her, and he kind of loved her even before he was sent back.
Yeah, he did.
Well, he
even
did.
said that.
That's why he went. That's why he volunteered. Yeah. So, anyways, but Coriander, let me also ask you this, and then I'll get to you, Marty. You were saying it was a love story. I think that was probably the thing that kept it kind of above that B movie type of status. Is the actual chemistry and the acting between Michael Biehn and Linda Hamilton. Would you agree with that? I just wanted to ask you that quick question.
Definitely. Yeah. You could feel the chemistry. I mean, you could see, before their whole love scene, that you could just tell that they were definitely in love with each other.
Yeah.
I mean, what they're going through, I mean, I don't know, how could you not fall in love with someone who told you this story, tells you he loved, it's great. It's great.
Okay. I just wanted to run past that. And also, let's not forget, we got to remember our boy, Mr. Tech Noir, man. That was just a great scene. I love, even as a kid, man, that scene just always cracked me up. But Marty, I'll pass it back to you. Obviously, we see that the Terminator is killing people. He killed Sarah Connor, and she was like, yes. And he just went in and took her out. When we get to the point where Linda Hamilton figures out that, hey, somebody is killing these Sarah Connors, and that's when she's kind of on the lookout, and also thinks Michael Biehn is the guy after. What were you thinking of, like, the tension of the movie at this point?
The Tech Noir standoff is probably one of the best fucking kind of shootouts or tense scenes, because Arnie's gunning for her. You don't know what the deal is with Michael Biehn. He's in the nightclub there as well. Is he there to make sure? Again, from the perspective, because when I was a kid, I saw this. I didn't realize he was a robot either. So I'm like, okay, so are both these guys in the club to kill her? And like
Yes.
when she looks up and that beads on her, you're like, okay, she's fucked. And then just Michael Biehn, thank Christ, opens up with that shotgun, and it turns into the Wild Bunch, and that's probably one of the best kind of shootouts or kind of tense scenes. You're like, who'll get to her first, or who'll save her first? You know, it's a really fantastically paced and shot scene.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. Killian, I mean, also for you, that scene, I mean, I just thought it was pulse pounding, and it just kind of kept going. And, you know, the other thing too, and I'm kind of backing up a little bit, but way before that, minutes before the actual shootout, you were still in that mode that like, wow, like Marty was saying, what's going to happen? When you saw Arnold get shot by Kyle Reese and he got up, what was your thought at that point?
Like what is going on here,
right?
You know, I mean, and like I said, you know, when I first saw this, I was, you know, a little kid, and it's just like, all right, that's not natural, that's not normal, I don't know. You know, and then your mind, you know, not that my mind then, but now, you know, maybe someone could infer, oh, he had on a bulletproof vest or something like that, you know, he's a big guy, who knows. But Arnold, when I know as a child, when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's scary. This, you can't stop this guy, you know, and we know we can't reason with it, you can't bargain with it or bribe it. But Arnold, in every body movement he does, whether he moves his head first, then his eyes, or his eyes, then his head, just all of his mannerisms are just so just emotive.
Machine-like,
machine-like, like a predator, like a hunter, like something that is very cold and calculated.
Sharp, swift.
Exactly. And I think all of that helps contribute to the nightmare fuel, even before you see the exoskeleton, or before you see that he has one robot eye or whatever. You know, and it's like, wow. And like you said, Knight, it's things like this that make this movie stand out from other sci-fi fare of the time. The love affair, the actors, the action, and the mannerisms of your antagonist, and how interesting it was to watch the bad guy. You know, it's like, man, like I kind of want to see what he's going to do next. Go for it, Marty.
I don't think we had like the concept of a kind of killer robot or a cyborg like this. I think the closest thing we had was maybe Yul Brynner in Westworld. So,
I love that movie.
That's a great example.
So unique, like, and that's what I loved about this movie as well. That's like, it's a trope. You think it's a trope now, but when you look back then, I mean, that was so fucking fresh and cool.
It was, man. I mean, and the thing of it too, and I'll get to you in a second, Coriander, but all of these things were coming together. You know, James Cameron, he used to work in the art department, you know, doing Roger Corman movies and stuff like that. Galen Hurd was an up-and-coming producer. They teamed up. Cameron had the dream where he got the inspiration and all that type of stuff, and the story kind of goes a couple different ways, but whatever. And you get Stan Winston on board. I mean, all these things are coming together all at once at the perfect time in 1984. You know, shooting it in what, 83, late 82, 83, whatever. But this is just the perfect time for all this to come together, and it's just crazy, man. It really is.
Can I just say to that too? When James said, you know, when the director loves what he's doing and believes in it, and everybody on board is the same way and feels the same way about the film, it's gonna make it that much better, and it comes together so well, and that's so true. Because everyone in this film was so good, and it's just amazing.
Absolutely. Very, very true. Real quick, too, in the chat, we got Quasi's in the chat saying hello to everybody. I'm currently being held hostage by the T-800. Too funny.
Oh, no.
I don't know if the T-800 takes hostages.
Right? Hey, your foster parents are dead. Crypta is saying, I saw this when I was a teenager. I knew about it, but I didn't see it until I was 12.
Yeah, same here. I was a teenager when I saw this too for the first time.
Gore says, takes me back to 84 and 85. Yeah. Neon Black says, I was probably 14 the first time I saw this, so it would be several years later before I could truly appreciate how good it was, how good it is. Yeah.
That's the whole thing.
Absolutely.
You really don't appreciate really good films and the true meaning of these films till you are older.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's get to, and Kill, I want to get to this, and then we'll get to a couple of fun facts too. So we have the shootout in the Tech Noir, and I want to just give props to the practical effects. When Arnold's chasing them, first of all, that was scary. It's like you just shot this guy, about 7 or 8 times. He gets up like it's nothing. And he is running after you. Like, he is running after you. They get into the car. Michael Biehn as Kyle Reese was so smart. He shoots the underneath of the vehicle in front, so it blows up. And I remember when I first saw this, I'm thinking, okay, that was smart. Next thing you know, Arnold jumps out of the fire onto their moving car. Props to Arnold is smoking. You can see the smoke coming off of him, off of his hair. His eyebrows are burned off. It looks so good. This movie's 35 years old. It's crazy. It still looks good. What were you gonna say, Marty?
There's actually a joke about how they done that effect is they poured mild acid on his jacket, and that was apparently Arnie's response was real acid, and that actually made its way into The Simpsons. I don't know if you remember what was it? Mega Man or whatever, the Schwarzenegger character in The Simpsons is real acid, so it's a nice little throwback to that. He was funny. You're going to use real acid on the Jim's camera was like, yeah, it's just mild, okay. So it's like,
that's funny. But I mean, it just looked fantastic. So they have a wonderful car chase, and again, we've been talking about car chases and action scenes and stuff. The car chase was fantastic too. It looked great. And obviously, it comes to the part when Reese is basically letting Sarah know what's going on, what this is all about, why she's getting chased, and it fits into the story really, really nicely. It doesn't seem out of place. It doesn't seem ham-fisted. It's not too wordy. That's another thing about Reese that's cool too. He says enough, and the rest is his physicality. Which, by the way, and it's a fun fact we're going to get to, but Michael Biehn, that's why he got the role. There are a lot of people that tried out for the role of Reese. They picked Michael Biehn because he was able to have that vulnerability in his eyes, in his physical actions. He could be a soldier, but be vulnerable enough so that you could believe the love story between him and Sarah Connor. So, Kill.
Yeah.
Once they get caught, and we didn't talk yet about the great Lance Henriksen and Paul Winfield. I really enjoyed them. Winfield was Traxler, and I mean, these guys were great. They had some nice little moments. Obviously, great actors themselves. It fit right on in. What were you thinking once they caught Reese and started to interrogate him?
This is when some of the comedy comes in.
Yes,
because of course they're not going to believe. And look, let's be honest. None of us probably would believe him.
Yeah,
none of us would,
right?
And it's sad, but it's true. I mean, they're looking at how he's dressed, and hell, even Sarah is kind of like, I don't know, maybe I don't know, because they're like, is this guy for real? Like, look, he saved me, but I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But like you said, I mean, Lance Henriksen, Paul Whitfield. They do it great because they're sitting there, and then of course you have the shrink, and he's
Silverman.
And he's always good for some laughs. And once again, he's giving us more exposition, but he's giving it in a more rushed tone because he knows we are trapped in one location here.
Yes,
I need to be mobile.
Yeah.
Being mobile is life. Being stagnant and not moving is death, and he knows it. and there's no place worse than being behind bars.
Right,
and,
right.
You know, and he's just like, look, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys again. From the future, this thing is coming, trying to kill her. Boom, boom, boom. We gotta go. And they're like, yeah, but explain how. And he's he's getting frustrated, and it's just an amazing sequence. And of course, just like we feared, the Terminator's smart. He figures out where they are.
Yep.
And you know, I'm not gonna continue because I know we're gonna talk about this classic iconic scene that could not be made today.
It could not, man.
So, yeah.
The massacre.
The massacre.
Yeah, man. What did you think of this scene, Coriander? I mean, to me, it was just freaking crazy.
It was. I mean, yeah, it was crazy. I mean, once he crashes through the building and you know, Sarah's sleeping and she wakes up because she hears a commotion, and then you hear the gunshots. It's like, oh God, yeah,
it's on.
You knew everyone in that building was fucked. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Marty?
It was cool. It was like the Terminator, like he I think the best description is maybe using a reference from Terminator 2, whereas the T-1000 in that movie is kind of like a stealth jet, where Arnie's a tank, and you see him as a fucking tank in this movie. He drives that car in, he pulls out the circuit breaker and just fucking plunges the place into darkness and just starts mowing the cops down. That is a machine. It isn't like he's not like super tactical. He's just like, I'm going in this direction and whatever's in front of me is dying. That was, I just thought was really cool. It was just, he's a tank and he's just gonna roll you over.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And let's just real quick too, just to go to a couple of fun facts, because I think that will also bring in a few ideas with the movie, because there was so much behind the scenes. First one that we want to throw out there is that there were other Terminators. There were others. Arnold was not the first pick for the Terminator. As a matter of fact, it was Lance Henriksen. And when Cameron had the vision of it, he envisioned the Terminator to be someone that could meld in with the crowd. You know, because it is an infiltration unit, right? You know, that's kind of the underlying joke, is that you've got this guy who's, you know, this champion bodybuilder. He's not going to be infiltrating nothing. You know what I mean? So, but Lance Henriksen actually came into the audition. He was dressed like the Terminator. He had a way that he was doing stuff. He freaked out the casting people because they didn't know he was coming in. He knew James Cameron because they worked together previously, but the studio had pitched Arnold, and Cameron did not want Arnold in the role. He actually went to the meeting with Arnold hoping to start an argument with him so that Arnold would walk off. He starts talking to Arnold, and he's like, he was quite charming, and we had a great conversation. And he started to see, this guy has a charisma to him. He could make a great Terminator. The reason I say this is because it's just interesting how this thing goes, because Arnold was actually going to try out for the Reese part, and they were going to have Lance Henriksen as the Terminator. I just couldn't see it that way. You know what I mean? What do you think about that, Kill? I mean, it's just funny how things worked out for the best, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I can't see that either. I mean, granted, you know, everything you said makes sense. Lance Henriksen could blend in more than this hulking, you know, Olympian god walking around. Right. But I mean, you know, it just, come on, it just looks so cool the other way around, man. He's a tank, and one thing I just want to add on the whole police massacre scene is the scene where Arnold is just calculating things. He's looking, he's like, all right, you know, he's looking at the glass, and then he says, "I'll be back."
I'll be back.
He's scanning for it. He's scanning for weaknesses. He's scanning for how much pressure it would take to crash through this.
Yes, good point.
And once again, that is a robot. That's a machine checking for weaknesses. Yeah. And yeah, he might be a big, dumb tank, whereas the T-1000 is more like a Porsche or something more sophisticated. But man, they don't build them like they used to. That T-800, that right. Service model was pretty good.
Right. Neon Black says Arnold is the Terminator, not the infiltrator. Yes, that's a good one. Toronto Freddy saying Cameron actually tried to start a fist fight with Arnie in hopes that that hopefully that Arnold would walk off. Yep, exactly. That's what we were talking about. It's just funny how that worked out like that. But Marty, let me throw it to you, because we've got a couple other fun facts that I just wanted to throw out to folks that I thought were pretty interesting. But here's another one, and I don't know if you know this one, Marty, but the T-1000 was in the Terminator. The T-1000.
As in the Robert Patrick's character, or Robert Patrick the actor, or the idea for T-1000? I didn't know that.
You're good. The idea. I was just writing it funny like that. The idea. Originally, Cameron wanted to do the idea of the liquid metal Terminator, but he knew that the special effects couldn't do it at that point. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I always thought that was really interesting, that even way back then in 1982 or whenever, James Cameron was already thinking of a T-1000, you know? And of course, when they were able to do T2, they had the ability and the technology to do it. I just find that, what do you think of that, Marty? I just think it's so awesome the way Cameron thinks.
That would have been cool, but there's no way, no hope in hell in 84 they would have been able to do that. I actually, going back to the casting thing, I don't know how you guys would feel, but what if OJ had been cast? Because you know OJ was up for it.
He was up for it too. Yeah.
No way.
Honestly, God, OJ was supposed to be the Terminator.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see it.
I see him in like the Naked Gun roles, and that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think he had the menacing charisma that Arnold could have, because even when Arnold plays a hero, like even when he played as Conan, and you know, even in Commando, even sometimes in Predator, he could have this look on his face where it's like, dude, I don't want to mess with this guy. He might be a hero
when he needed to be.
Yeah, he might be a hero, but I do not want to mess with him.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Let's see, another fun fact we have, and I'll throw this one at you, Coriander. Inspired by The Shape. And we know who The Shape is. That's Michael Myers. So Cameron had said that he really envisioned this to be like a horror movie. He was inspired by John Carpenter's Halloween. He was inspired by Ridley Scott and Alien. Do you see the parallels of that in the movie, Coriander? Because I definitely saw those parallels.
He just keeps coming. Mm-hmm. Just like Michael, he just keeps coming. Yeah. Nothing stops him. Nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I totally see it.
Absolutely. And Kill, I'll throw this one to you. We got some math that we're gonna do. Let's go to school. Calendar time for Buddy. Next one. 1 plus 99, it equals 100. And do you know what 100 is?
No.
100 is the Rotten Tomatoes score for the Terminator.
Oh, wow.
Perfect.
Wow.
Perfect. Isn't that, I mean,
it
is. It deserves it. It truly deserves it. I mean, this is one of those movies from beginning to end. The reason I'm throwing it to you, Kill, because we rewatch these movies before we talk about them. When you rewatch this, and I know you've seen it so many times like me, was there any point in the movie that you saw a weakness? I mean, I know no movie is truly perfect every millisecond of the film, so I'm not thinking of it like that, but I'm thinking in totality, everything, all the elements. Was there any part of it, even after seeing it dozens of times like you have, was there any part of it where you were like, you know what I mean, this isn't that great or whatever?
No.
Okay.
But you know, if I was to be nitpicky, the only thing I would say I wish we saw a little bit more of, and this is just me, you know, make my movie, is more of future Los Angeles and future, you know, the future war stuff. But yeah, I mean, I really can't sit and think of, you know, something that's a negative to this movie, because also in my mind, you know, with it being nightmare fuel, this movie for me is the lines of demarcation are how fucked up Arnold is looking.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, Arnold, okay, he's just a killer. He's a human. Okay, Arnold with one eye. Wait a second, what's going on? This is scary.
Right.
And then you got exoskeleton, and it's like, okay, now we're on a whole nother level of
exactly.
This is scary.
Absolutely. And in the chat, you guys are having some fun in the chat. Strange Monkey says that Kill Bill Volume 2 reference. There you go, buddy. You knew what was up. Nice one. But Marty, we got one more thing when we talk about math, and here we are. 17 felt like 40, and that is referencing the shootout in the police department. He killed 17 cops, but it sure as hell felt like a lot more to me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it does.
It seemed like he was mowing down people, man. What'd you think, Marty?
I don't know if it came up on his heads-up display, but it was so well cut. You couldn't really tell how many fucking dudes he was like fucking grinding down with the guns. And and that's the scary thing. I don't even think he gave a shit if he killed or wounded people. Like he shot Traxler, didn't give a shit. He's just, I'm going this direction. You're getting out of the way. You're getting out of the way. You're getting
exactly.
Oh, you're in the way. Bang. It was just it was methodical. It was like a machine. He was there to kill Sarah Connor, nothing else, and anything else was just an obstacle that he just removed. It didn't matter what way you removed it. And I think just the clever cutting, it just made the carnage seem that more monumental.
Absolutely. Now I'm gonna play something real quick. It just shows how many people he killed in this movie, because he was just going off. He was like a damn machine. Me and Coriander, we've done this a little bit when we've done the whole just reading them out to you guys. But let's throw this here. So we got 27 kills, man. Like, I'm telling you, he was just mowing down people like it was just a Sunday afternoon. Is the point that I was trying to get to. It's just freaking crazy, man. And to think that we saw this as little kids with our parents, it's just it's crazy.
That's awesome.
Thinking about it now.
I'm always so jealous of you two that you guys are able to do that with your parents.
But one other thing with that scene, and I'm sitting here and I'm envisioning the scene where he's kind of just going down the hallway. He's moving the whole time. Yeah. He doesn't really shoot. Just, I'm gonna stand here. Boom, 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 boom. No, he's like, and he's scanning. He's looking. There's someone. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. And we don't know if he killed that person or not. Exactly. No, that's exactly what I was going to say, because we don't actually know, like Marty said, how many people he aced out, but he shot a bunch of mofos and kept walking.
Exactly. It's too funny. But let's as we start to get to the last part of the movie here, Sarah and Reese obviously are on the run, and that's when they start to have their moments together, and you're still getting that connective tissue between them, which I thought was fantastic. Marty, as this point in the story happens and then into the final confrontation with the Terminator, what were you thinking of the story? I personally, even as a kid, these moments that they had together, for me, it didn't detract at all from my enjoyment of the film. What did you think?
No, I'd like it. Again, it really made us give a shit more about these two characters, because you could see that they were starting to fall in love, and you're like, this is really fucking tender, and you don't want anything to happen to these two characters, because like, granted, you've spent such a short amount of time together, but you can just tell that there's chemistry and there's genuine love, and it's just like, oh Christ, I really hope they they make it out of this. They make it out of the situation, which sadly they don't. Oops, spoilers for a movie that's not 37 years old. I don't know, but like, it's even more heartbreaking when later on what happens in the movie. I think these scenes make the loss of Reese's character that more impactful later on in the movie, and I think they were essential for that.
Absolutely, I agree. Drake was saying, True Night, it felt like he was just rampaging through them, man. It really felt like a lot more. It truly did, man. I like the kill count section, man. That's cool. Keep doing that, man. Hey, thanks, man. We appreciate that. Neon Black says, crazy kill count, but then again, I watched Red Dawn with my parents too. Good one, man. Very cool. Very cool. So Coriander, the one thing I also want to jump back to, and I know we're kind of going all over the place, but the repair scene for the Terminator, that also was kind of a big moment too. And Killian, you referenced it a little bit in earlier, but Coriander, for you, when you saw that scene, what did you think of that scene? Because that's when we really got to see what he was.
Yeah, that was great. I mean, it does look in some spots like dated, but still, I think it's great. And yeah, you see him pulling on these metal things that are supposed to be like tendons, and his finger moves, and it's just so cool. Yeah.
How about you, Kill? Because I think this is the only there's that one shot. The only moment to me where it's like, okay, they tried to do the best they could. It's 1983, but I'm still gonna roll with it over too much CGI. What were you thinking of this scene in general?
Pretty much the same. And I think we all know exactly the scene you're talking about. But there you go. But like, it doesn't detract because. They, like you said, they did the best they could, which was pretty damn good for the time. Yeah. And just the imagination to even think up this, I give them kudos for, and and to see this, it's like, oh man, is he gonna put the knife in his eye? Oh goodness,
He surely did,
So
I
still love it to this day.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's not bad. And of course,
and I would take cheesy, well, not that it looks cheesy, but I would so take a dated version of anything over friggin' CGI.
I hear you. And here's a good image too, showing how they did some of that too, because Arnold was actually behind the prosthetic, the dummy, and with the sunglasses and stuff like that. So again, it just look, man, this is creativity. And I give them all the credit in the world. And like I said, only that one shot, that was the only shot to me really that even rewatching it today, that's the only one shot that really got me. But anyways, Marty, as we get to the final confrontation, and I know as a big fan of stop motion and things like that, what did you think of? I mean, even before that though, but he's in the 18-wheeler, he's coming after them and so forth. What were you thinking as the finale was happening?
Yeah, you're like, okay, these two are fucked unless they leave the country, or unless this guy ends up driving into a river, they're completely fucked. But when that truck goes up, and they're like, oh, thank God. And then the metal grim fucking Reaper comes up, courtesy of Phil Tippett's fantastic stop motion. That's a scene that's a scene that, like, if you're going to put a scene on the back of the box, the VHS box, that's it. Because I know people say stop motion is janky, but that thing is just, it's so well lit and well shot, and you're like, yes, this is a thing. This is literally, I think, from Cameron's Nightmare. I think he got food poisoning or something and envisaged a kind of a metal skeleton coming out of a nuclear fire. And it's one of those images that just sticks with you. And again, Phil Tippett's work is fantastic in that scene. It may have dated, but it still looks awesome.
Absolutely, yeah. This is that scene right there, and it's just amazing that, again, just creativity, guys. That's all it is. not always copying everything that you see. You can be inspired, but go in new directions. And this is what they were doing, just like when we've talked so admirably about things like Giger and the Xenomorph. I mean, here we are with another iconic creation, this exoskeleton, and it's just fantastic stuff. It really, really is. Coriander, as we get to the end, and obviously we know that Reese is going to sacrifice himself. Were you thinking that, and I know it's tough because we've seen this movie so many times, but were you thinking that Sarah Connor was in the shit?
I was hoping no,
Right.
Because she's strong and she's smart, and she was able to defeat him. So it was, she was so smart to, climb through that crushing machine because he was following her. And,
he wouldn't stop.
No,
he would not stop, man. That's the thing that was crazy. It was really crazy.
Yes, pulled apart in two pieces. Well, more than that, he exploded. Yeah. And it's crazy shit. It's scary because,
Absolutely. Casey was saying, true on the practical over CG. Just look at the future scenes of this against Salvation. Dude, now let me just say something. Casey, you're my boy, man. Coriander, earlier didn't I say something? I was talking about the future scene, and I said I want to say something, but we're gonna talk about Salvation. But let's just throw it out there right now, and especially because me and Kill have talked about Salvation many times. We will talk about Salvation coming up. Do you agree with that, Kill? Just as a quick little moment. Yes, right? Doesn't it? The future scenes in this 1984 movie, the little bit that we get, maybe 5 minutes worth, right? It does look better than Salvation. It's true. It's true. But we will get to Salvation soon. That's crazy. Casey, you're all right, man. But as we get to the end of this, and she obviously is able to defeat the Terminator, I thought it was just a fantastic ending. It was great. It was just like a horror movie, just like a slasher. This had all those elements in this movie. And like you said, Kill, when we had our top 10 final girl video, and you had Sarah Connor on that list, and I thought to myself, you're right. You're absolutely right.
You're terminated, fucker.
She was a great she was a great final girl. Absolutely.
Yeah, she is.
Marty, any final thoughts? Obviously, we see her in the Jeep. She knows, quote unquote, a storm is coming, and she just rides off into the sunset, into a future that we don't know what's going to happen. Did you like the ending? What'd you think of it?
No, I did. I'm like I assumed that Cameron had plans on making a sequel, because it definitely hangs on the cliffhanger. You have the mother of the future and this oncoming apocalypse. I'm like, Jesus Christ, tell me more. Don't leave it there. I love the ending, but it did, for me, it left me wanting more. It left me wanting, like, if they tried this shit once, they're going to try for her again, or they're going to try for her son or whatever. So, like, it left me yearning for more, and obviously we got more in T2. I think that was a great hook for the movie, the subsequent movie, I think.
Absolutely. How about you, Coriander? What did you think of the ending? Did you enjoy the ending?
I did. I even liked how she was making tapes for her son to listen to,
Yes.
So,
yes.
Yeah, I thought it ended well. And like Marty said, it definitely, you wanted more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
And I thought it was cool how the picture was taken of her when she was talking on the tape, and she was talking about Reese.
The few hours that we had together, we loved a lifetime's worth.
At that very moment that the picture was taken, and it was so interesting how Kyle was
so
saying.
Glad you're mentioning this. Yes.
Yeah. Kyle was saying, I've always wondered what you were thinking in this picture.
Yes.
So, and I'm not trying to get all whatever, but
you're gonna make us all cry.
Well,
no.
All right, well, hold on, let me finish though. But I'm not trying to get all whatever. But I thought it was just just these little things in movies like this that really just uplifts it above the norm. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
So it was a nice little through line from what Reese was saying when he talked about how he had looked at this picture for so long. He fell in love with this picture, traveled across time to meet her, and come to find out that she was thinking of him in that moment. Again, it was
You just gave me chills, dude. Come on.
Right.
Enough.
But I'm just saying, I'm just saying that's some of the beauty, just some, and not even, we could talk about a whole bunch of other things. We could keep going on, but we got to get ready to end this. But just some of the beauty of this movie and this script. They didn't make a big deal out of it. It wasn't ham-fisted. It was very simple, yet powerful. And I just think it's a fantastic movie from beginning to end. Everything about this movie works. And as a fan of it, growing up with it, with my brother and my family, I'm just so glad that I was there for that beginning of it. And then, of course, we'll talk about the other movies and how there were a lot of great moments to come. And it was just a fantastic ride. And you don't see enough of that today, especially in sci-fi. I talked about the Dune trailer today, which looks amazing, and Denis Villeneuve is amazing. He's a visionary, imaginative director. We need more of that. Yeah. We need more of those type of guys, more James Camerons, so that we can talk about other movies on this level, and we don't get a chance to do it that much. So I just wanted to say that piece. Kill, any final thoughts for you as we head on out? It's just a great movie, man.
No, I mean, it's a great movie, and all those little things that you just described is exactly why it stands out. It stood out back then, and it still stands out today. I would put this against almost any new science fiction action movie, that's coming out these days, and it won't have the heart that this movie has. So,
Right. The script is lean and mean, and it's great. Strange Monkey was saying when he was a kid, the animatronic Arnold in the mirror without the glasses reminded me of Christopher Walken. That's funny.
Oh my God.
I'll be back. Wow.
Gore was saying her character development is genius. Written and acted is so smooth. She's a fighter and a leader by the end. Very good point. Anyways, for you guys in the chat, let us know what you think of this wonderful movie. Please, please, please give us a like, comment in the comment section. That would really help us out. And we will catch you guys next time. If you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace out.
Peace.
Up church.